All righty. We're live. So it takes like a minute to two for people to tune in. But for those of you who are tuning in, Aaron's already on his second cup of cold brew. So Aaron, I have to ask, do you have a spot in Chattanooga you go to? Like, do you have a good coffee shop anywhere?
I do. Unfortunately, I don't live near any of the ones downtown, but there is one called Drip. It's a Drip Kitchen and Coffee. It's family owned. They got a couple
There you go.
locations. It's about 10 minutes from the house.
There you go.
Can't make it there. It's
That's so funny because literally this is from a coffee shop called Drips and near my house.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I go with the old cold brew Stoke or Stock. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Stoke. Yeah, Stoke. They sponsor Wrexham.
Really?
Yeah, that's
cool.
I've obviously big fan of documentaries based off all the content we put out, heavy documentary based, and they are the stadium sponsor for Welcome to Wrexham, or like Wrexham's football, so soccer.
Yeah, I buy Stoke in bulk at Costco.
I love it, dude. Costco. I'll tell you this. Shout out Costco Hendersonville. They had some banging samples this weekend. It was great. It's basically the closest thing we have to like a playground.
Pretty
like
much.
An adult playground.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't like Stoke.
Yeah.
Good morning. We do have some people. Yeah. It's early. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to Aaron for making this happen. Aaron is a busy man. I am honestly, I am grateful that he took time to do this, even though it's early. I think it's gonna be great content. But Aaron is a busy man. So we had to do this an hour early because of Aaron's meeting schedule. So Aaron, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
Appreciate the invite.
For those of you tuning in, welcome to Guidance Counselor 2.0 midweek edition. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm tired. And Aaron's a little under caffeinated as well still, even as he's on second cup. So we're going to get through this together. But I think it's going to be a great conversation today. So I met Aaron through LinkedIn. I really like the content he was putting out on LinkedIn. Aaron's one of those guys. He'll never say it. Aaron's an influencer on LinkedIn. And he'll never say it, but I've never seen a recruiter get as many comments and engagement on a post. And so he is definitely message him and say, hey, I'm a link. Great to see you, LinkedIn influencer, because that is who you are. You're a LinkedIn influencer. And so this will be a good conversation today about really how to navigate internal recruiters, right? I think there's a lot of questions. We coming at it from an agency side, but even like we were backstage, and we'll get to it here in a minute, like Aaron even had some contrasting thoughts and contradicting thoughts to what we talk about, right? About resume templates and whatnot. So it's going to be a great conversation today. So again, if you are tuning in, welcome. I know it's a little bit early time. I want to get through some housekeeping things. As always, first off, AppWrite. Listen, I'm an AppWrite hero. Love the DevRel team at AppWrite. I want to say I love the product, but I don't know how to code. But I think it's good. So you should check it out. That is my sales pitch. I think it's good. So you should check it out. But Jason Torres, my business partner, is a AppWrite hero as well. So go check them out. Tell them a Torque Boy sent you. Also, too, listen, we got a lot going on in the Torque community. One of the things that Aaron and I were talking about backstage is just the importance of events, getting out from behind your computer. So we got a lot of things happening. So go check out torque.community. We got a brand new refresh, repay. The page is refresh. It's pretty. Let's just say that it's pretty. So go check it out. It's got testimonials. It's got links to everything. So if you have not checked it out, go check out torque.community. Also, listen, when I do go live with guests, like Aaron, and you want to be kept in the loop, shoot me a text. Just say live. It'll automatically lump you in, and I shoot this text out every day to folks. So if you don't want to miss it, or you just want to be kept up to date, definitely join this texting community. What else? I think that's it. All right. So Aaron, let's give the people what they want, man. Who are you? What do you do? And we'll go from there.
Yeah. So my name is Aaron Harmon. I've been recruiting almost 10 years now, which is crazy to think.
That's crazy.
And then
we're getting old.
Yeah, we are. In the same breath, though, I feel like I feel like I still don't know how to do a lot of things, right? So
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
lot to learn left in the recruiting industry. It's a weird industry to be in because you can do it for a long time and still learn every single day,
yep,
depending on a new rec or a new individual that has a different mindset or a different tactic on things. You're always learning. So
yep.
that's something that I like about it the most. But yeah, been starting the agency side, near and dear to
Who
my
did you
heart.
start with on the agency side? I don't
Aerotech.
even know that. Aerotech. Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
I was there 5 years.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah. So stuck with recruiting the whole time. I think the general agency push is like, hey, recruit and then get into sales. And I was like, no, no, I like recruiting. I want to get good at this, right? So,
Yeah,
and yeah, stuck with that. Learned a bunch. I learned a little bit about a lot of industries, and I
yeah,
learned what I did and did not like as far as recruiting goes, and what I enjoyed and what I did not enjoy, and what I was good at. Right,
yeah,
so that propelled me to get into the internal side, which um, is a whole different beast in itself.
yeah,
Depending on small company, big company, whatever industry it is, it's just the core function is the same, but it's a different animal.
yeah. And you were at Tesla for a bit.
Yeah, was there for
Um,
3 years.
what did you? What type of roles did you hire at Tesla?
A little bit of everything. So I was hired to do battery cell manufacturing and never touched it.
Battery cell
Yeah,
manufacturing. That is
never touched it, not
wild.
once.
Yeah,
I got hired. I think someone went on leave. And I filled in for something, and then I ended up owning that. And then somebody would call our boss. Shout out Kevin, great guy. Miss working with him all the time, but they would call him and say, "Hey, we need extra help." And then me and a couple other people on our team were this kind of like, I kind of call it like a cleanup crew. Like we would
yeah,
come
yeah,
in
yeah,
and fill surge recs or fill the kind of hard to fill recs that were
yeah.
bogging their teams down, and then we would own those departments for those types of roles. So we had this like mixed bag of positions from, I mean, I was hiring parts runners, and then I was hiring crash test technicians, right? Doing like full blown
Yeah.
crash tests, right? So it was everything under the sun, which might have been to my demise there, right? Because I wasn't a specialized recruiter, I was a
Sure,
generalist, right?
sure.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
but I think that generalist mindset got me to where I am now. So I'm very appreciative of that experience.
I love it. And then where are you at now? And kind of what do you focus on?
Yeah, so I'm a PDW, Performance Drone Works out of Huntsville, Alabama. We build small unmanned systems for the military, heavily designed and engineered for the military. So I am a team of one currently as far as recruiting goes. So everything under the
It's
sun. So
crazy.
corporate, manufacturing, engineering, product.
How
You
many
know,
people do you think you've extended offers out to at this point?
this year over 100.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
That's nuts.
I had a conversation. I think we have some pretty stiff hiring goals for the next 5 years, which it'll be a pretty good trajectory. Not a huge spike, but a very gradual and steep
Sure.
hiring curve. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's
It's cool
awesome.
to see a lot of the new faces. Like, I'm remote, but I go down there quite often.
Yep.
And as you go down there, there's a new person, right? Like, hey, who is that? And it's like, it's someone that, I might have talked to 2 or 3 months ago and I forgot what they looked like, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
things
Yeah.
like that, right? So it's so cool seeing the new faces. And we're in the new building now, too. So we've been in a new building since July 1st. And we're really proud of that, too.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw a video. I saw a nice little video. I think you
That's
reposted
cool.
it. Aaron, so to let you know, Aaron and I, we also
Yeah.
how many kids you got again?
2.
Two. Yeah, yeah. It sounds like our daughters are about the same.
Yeah.
So Aaron and I always mess each other on Instagram, kind of dad daughter type content. So yeah, shout out to you for sending out 100 offer letters and also balancing kids as well, man. I mean, it's
It's
a
fun, man.
challenge.
Yeah, I don't get in the whole personal stuff on LinkedIn. Like, I'm a pretty private person, but yeah, people don't even realize I have kids sometimes. I'm like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
married. I've been my wife for almost 15 years.
that's awesome.
Got 2 little ones, got a dog.
There you
Yeah,
go. And then you do
regular duty.
golf sometimes, right? You and I have messaged about golf a little bit whenever you have any time.
Yeah, yeah, I do enjoy golf. My dad's a lifelong golfer. Got me into it. I worked at a golf course.
Did you really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
I used to watch the golf carts, man.
That's
Pick the
awesome.
range.
That's
So
awesome. I'm actually my first official when I say official, like I had to pay for it. I'm in my first official golf scramble on Monday.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you
So
go.
like it's me and 3 guys. They're actually from my church, and we're gonna all go out there and try to hit the ball around the course. So about 100 balls. I plan on losing all of them. So it's gonna be great.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
yeah.
great.
Don't buy the expensive ones. I'll tell you
No,
that.
I'm doing the refurbished ones.
There you go. There
Because
you
your
go.
boy don't have the funds for that. All right. So let's just start out, dude. Like, let me give you kind of a softball question, and then we can kind of chip away at it. Like, where are job seekers really missing the mark right now, in your eyes, when it comes to the job search?
I don't think people fully read job descriptions. And I say that with a grain of salt because some job descriptions are just not that great or they're very vague,
Sure,
right? So
sure,
it's not the fault of the applicant or the job seeker because sometimes job descriptions are just trash. And
yeah,
that's the reality of it. But when the job description has requirements explicitly stated and you don't meet those requirements or you're not in the industry of what this role is, the I guess desire to apply shouldn't be there, right?
right.
But here we are, 2025. We still get people that work in non-adjacent industries that don't meet any of the qualifications that are applying, which is great. Like I love everyone shooting their shot, but it's unrealistic sometimes.
And so let me ask you this. Yeah, and Jeff, so I said it. So Aaron's a busy guy. We had to work around his meeting schedule, so that's why we're early. So Aaron and I, this is the morning show that we're both trying to wake up on. So let me ask you this: how do we, aka the job seeker, how do they portray? So one of the things that we teach a lot within the Torque community, we're doing resume reviews today, by the way, for anybody who's watching now. In the future, we're doing resume reviews this afternoon in the Torque Discord. One thing we always say, and one thing I'm really big on, is having kind of this top part of your resume, what I call the professional summary, right? Where it's like you're kind of hitting the must-haves, the nice-haves of the job description. So it's kind of laid out really easy to you. Is that a good way? Is there other ways that you want to see, like, hey, here's how I can't has exactly what's in the job description? Like, how do you like a resume to look?
Yeah, so I definitely don't recommend tailoring your resume to every single rec, right? Or every
Interesting.
single
Yep.
job posting, right?
Yep.
You can specialize and you can edit some certain things. Like for example, like if you're a software engineer and it's like, hey, you have to have experience with C and C++, right? That's like must have. That's what they use, and it's stated in the job description. And you have C++ listed one time on your resume at the very bottom. Probably should put that at the top, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you can again, with a good job description that has clear requirements, you can create a little bit of an edit there and appeal to what the job
Yes.
description says. Now,
Yep.
as you and I both know, every recruiter has their own preferences, right?
Yes. Correct.
Whether they want to say it or not, recruiters have preferences. I don't typically care on format, right? Like,
Which is crazy to think about. Like, knowing you, because you and I have exchanged some texts. Like, you're kind of like me. We're both kind of grumpy.
Yeah.
And we both have very strong opinions. The fact that you don't really dig into to format is kind of wild to me.
Yeah. I like, you can literally hit Control F and find the keyword you're looking for, right? Like,
Okay, so I want to highlight that.
Easy.
I want to highlight that because I talk about it, and people, I'm sure, are tired of me talking about it. But like, most recruiters just Control F. I mean, that's how I started. I didn't know anything about anything, and I was just out here Control Fing skill sets. So it's like, and listen, whether you like it or not, if a recruiter doesn't know the in and outs of Java, and you have Spring Boot on your resume, but not the word Java, a lot of times,
Also true. Yeah.
you could get rejected. So talk
Exactly.
about the importance of the Control F, and just actually
Yeah.
just when I say littering, that's like a bad term, but like making sure your resume has the skills.
Yeah, so that's the thing. To go back to what you were saying, the recruiter should know enough about the rec to be able to find other keywords, right? So, like for example, like if we're looking for someone that has QML background, and I type in QML and it's not on there, hey, I'm not going to just throw the resume in the trash. I'm gonna go through it, right? Because this person's been a software developer for the last 10 years. They probably have touched it somewhere. Let's
Yep.
see the industries they've worked with. Let's see the platforms they've worked on, right? And do another screen through it. That just gets the control F and and the keyword search gets me started with the right section of the resume, and then I can look through everything else, right? I don't want to
Yep.
look through the whole resume to find what I'm looking for. I want to find that first, and then see the full picture after the fact, right? Um, 7 seconds, 30 seconds, 90 seconds. LinkedIn will tell you 40 different time frames someone spends on a resume. But if the resume is good, I'm going to look at it, right? And if it matches what we need and it's the correct industry or the correct skill sets, I'm going to spend as much time as I need to on it to make sure that I'm not missing something, because I'm not an expert, right? Like, I'm not the expert in manufacturing engineering um, or product development, right? But I know enough
Yeah.
about it to know what we're looking for and what fits well with the company. So if it takes any extra time to find that, I'm going to invest at that to make sure we're not missing anyone, and I'm not doing anybody a disservice by just looking for a keyword.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that's the difference between agency and internal recruiting? Because agency, man, like if you don't got it, like we just move on.
Yes and no. It depends the format of the agency, right? So, for example, like if you're working for a very specialized headhunter, where it's like, hey, I just work in A, B, and C industries, as you were saying, like like you used to focus on three buckets, right? Whereas the bigger legacy staffing companies, you can submit candidates to other account managers, right? So like if you find someone that's really good, and you're like, hey, this doesn't fit my rec, but it might be good for somebody else's rec, like they should be talking to that person, because when it comes to commissions, as long as the recruiter's filling the rec, the account manager's happy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So they should take that extra time to cross recruit.
Yeah.
Now,
Absolutely.
that isn't always the case, and not always able to do that if there's no recs, right? If there's
Right.
no recs for it, then as you said, hey, we have to move on, right? Because we can't help everybody, and that's just the reality of hiring.
Yeah, absolutely. What Jason, my coworker, asked a good question here, because again, we do resume reviews all the time. How do you know it's good? Like, how do you know? Because like you're saying the format doesn't matter, but then you're also saying you look at things like where do your eyes go? I think that's a great question. Like when you open up a resume, where are you looking first?
I'm looking a quick summary, right? The quick summary is what I look at, but if it's the buzzwords, the multifaceted thought leadership, again, great things to be, right? But if it's full of filler words and it doesn't really tell me who you are, I'm going to go right to your experience.
Yep.
I'm looking at titles, I'm looking at companies. If I know the company, great. If I don't, I'm looking it up, looking at tenure real quick, right?
Yep.
Things. And I'll start with that. Tenure is not a deal breaker. Contract roles are so popular now.
Yeah.
So many
It was
companies
crazy
want
when I
contract
started in
roles.
2011. Like nobody wanted contract.
Nobody, no. And if you're a contract person, it's because oh, no one wants to hire you. Well, now people want that contract because they want the diverse work, like diverse portfolio of work.
Yep.
So what I recommend though is if you're doing contract work, write contract, right?
Yep.
The best advice that I tell people when creating a resume: answer questions before they have to be asked. So if you're like,
Okay.
like I don't know if I should put if I was laid off, or like if it was like a reduction in force, or if it was contract, put it on there,
Yeah.
right? Like if it's a short term thing and you did a couple jobs here and there, write contract, write laid off due to budget cuts, right? Answer those questions, because people could be like, oh, this person's a job hopper based on tenure alone,
Yeah.
and not even not look at the content of the resume because of the tenure. And that's unfortunate that it happens. But if you can answer those questions and address those quote unquote red flags yourself,
Yep.
and own it, say, hey, like this is my story, this is what I was doing,
I love it.
then that typically can help. Now, but again, I'm looking at tenure. I'm looking at, is it easy to read? But please use bullets. That's all I say. Like,
Thank you.
please
I
use
say all the time,
bullets.
like people like they write massive paragraphs. It's like,
Right.
dude, nobody reads in paragraphs anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think Jason has another comment down at the bottom. I can't
Yeah.
read it. There you go. Immediate no. I don't know if I have an immediate no unless they just don't meet the requirements. Like, so if someone worked, let's just say in hospitality, right? They worked at a hotel chain, they were GM, or they worked, supervisor of restaurant or housekeeping, and they're applying to a warehouse management role. they're two different industries.
Yeah.
The operations side, the management side, team leadership time, all that translates, but there's no direct um, relation to the industry and the new role. Right now,
Yeah.
that's where, in my opinion, I'm never going to say you have to create a cover letter, but if you're changing industries, if you're going from, let's just say, the hospitality piece to a logistics type of industry, and you have that kind of cross relatable skill set that can match, write that cover letter,
Yeah.
explain yourself, right? Because if I look at it, I'm like, well, this person doesn't meet any of the requirements, but they have a cover letter. I'm going to read it real quick.
Okay.
No, if there's no cover letter, hey, I don't know what you're
There's
looking
no
for.
context.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I'm never going to say it's a requirement. But if you are changing industries, if you're wanting to kind of get your feet wet into a new industry or do something just different than we've done in the past, that's where I see the benefit of a cover letter. That being said, the day and age we are in now, the opportunity to change industries or change
It's
job
hard.
scope is very difficult because you have this pool of candidates that meet all of the requirements already, and then there's someone that meets 10%, right?
Yeah.
But they have the aptitude and the ability, but you're going up against candidates that maybe already have 5 years of experience because there's so many layoffs and everyone's looking for work. So again, it happens. I see it all the time. People, going from X to Y,
Yep.
and it's possible, but the opportunities are far and fewer now.
Absolutely. Jeff, expound on this. Is this a new normal? In what part? Expound on that real quick for us. So interesting thought about cover letters, right? Because we get that question a lot from an agency side. I've always said I've never dealt with cover letters because your agency recruiter is kind of your cover letter.
Yeah.
Right. They take the time to meet with you. They take the time to craft your submission to the client. They kind of do a lot of the selling for you. But I think when you're going internal, I think you bring up an interesting thing that I think cover letters are good for career switchers. Do you think cover letters are good also for like somebody who's been in the industry a lot, or not really?
It can be,
Okay.
so it's like, for example, if someone's been in, let's just say, an engineering manager role, right? And they're applying to an individual contributor position, and then that's when they can say, hey, in my last 5 years of being a manager, I was also a player coach, right?
Yeah.
So I was in the weeds. I was spending 50% of my day coding, programming, whatever it may be, and explain that in the cover letter, because someone can see that and say, oh, they're a manager. We're not, it isn't a good fit, right? Where this person managed maybe a team of two, team of three, right? When their main function was doing rather than leading. That's when you can explain that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what Jeff was referring to as far as
No. Jeff's referring to the time. No, Jeff, this is just a one-off. This is just the one-off. This is just the one-off. Yeah.
But, and again, I'm like we discussed backstage, I am a team of one at one company of thousands of companies in the US, right? So there are so many ways to be seen and to be heard. This is just my experience, right? So I follow a guy on Instagram. He's a barbecue guy, and he always says, I'm going to do this how I like doing it.
Yeah.
You do it how you like doing it. Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I stand with it. Right. There's a million ways to recruit. There's a lot of wrong ways, but there's a lot of right ways to recruit.
Yes.
This is what works for me.
I always say the same thing. This is my career and what's worked for me. It doesn't necessarily doesn't mean it's like the golden standard. Let me ask, one of the things that Jason and I talk a lot about in our resume reviews we do in our Torque Discord is we really try to harp on company description if it's not a big company. And I think it kind of lines up to what you're saying. Like if I'm working for another drone company that you haven't worked for, I would put that in your resume, because then you can see, oh, I didn't know what this company was off the rip, but the fact that you said, hey, it's like a 2 million in revenue, blah, blah, company, that allows more context to your resume. Thoughts on that?
Yeah. So my resume has the employer name is hyperlinked to the website of the employer.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I know that's a information security thing. Like, shouldn't click links that you don't know their source from. So that after I did it, I was like, probably, wasn't a good thing because it could be flagged by IT or information security. Now that
Sure.
I know more about that. So the perks of being a generalist. But I do think, a quick, here's the website, or, the industry or style of company, right? Like agency. Like, so for example, like we have a marketing role open and someone worked for a company. I look it up and I can't find it. Well, it's because it's a marketing agency, right? They work on behalf of hundreds of companies, right?
Correct.
But I didn't know that, right? So going back to the timepiece, like not every recruiter is going to take that time to go find out what this company is. So if you can
got to
put,
try to give it to everybody, like in
yeah,
your resume.
you have to assume that someone reading your resume doesn't know what you do,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So now, for example, if it's, an industry adjacent role, the recruiter should be educated enough and should have done their own research to know their competitors, know the market, right? But the hyperlink or a quick, this is an automotive company, a tier one automotive supplier, or ISO certified clean room environment, right? All of those things can be added.
Yeah.
It's not a requirement, but again, for the smaller companies, it does help the recruiters out because again, it answers the questions before they have to be asked.
Yep, absolutely. I want to, and Jason comments right here. Incorporate your cover letter will rarely ever get read again. Like, yes, probably right.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think it's a mixed bag. I think, I would say just have one ready to go. Right. And again, I think again it goes back to it's like what Aaron just said. The buzzwords not the buzzwords, the filler words have got to
Mm-hmm.
go. Right. I think the biggest issue I see with cover letters is it's just riddled with I'm a great communicator, I'm a great leader, I am passionate about the industry. It's like that's cool and all, but like I want to know like what you've done and how it relates to this opportunity.
Yeah, yeah, and Chat GPT and Grok and all that stuff like that. They all look the same, they all sound the same, right? So like there's a portion of our application where you can basically copy and paste the cover letter. But I have people that just type out a few sentences,
Yeah,
right? Like
I don't gotta be long. I
exactly,
don't
like
gotta be
just
long.
give me your elevator pitch that I can read in 30 seconds if you want to do that. Again, I'm never going to require that, but if you want to
Yep.
write 2 or 3 sentences and I can check it real quick, it's literally right below the resume in the ATS. So
Yeah.
it's not like it's a separate function that has to be done outside of the resume review. That can be very impactful if you want to do it. And to Jason's point, sometimes people just don't have the time to look through resumes. I'm sorry, look through cover letters
Yeah.
because of the direct load or the applicant flow that they have. But in my opinion, if you have 100 applicants and they're all on par with what you're looking for, see who wanted to share a little bit about themselves,
Yep.
right? See if you
Yep.
can differentiate one from the other, and that cover letter could be the differentiator in some situations.
Absolutely. I want to get into I want to start talking a little bit about uh like communication strategy, outreach for job seekers, right? I'm sure you get a lot of DMs on LinkedIn. You sent me some.
Yeah. Yeah.
You sent me emails, right? You screenshotted emails to me. What how can somebody stand out? How do you like to be approached? What do you think some best practices are? Like if I really want to work at PDW and I've submitted my resume a few times and I haven't heard from you, how do you want to be approached? Because I think this is where I think one of the things we consistently preach in the tort community is like, hey, you got to do outreach, et cetera, et cetera. But like, what's a tactful way to do outreach?
So it depends on the day, right? If
It
I'm
depends. It
and
depends if I'm in
I'm
a
being
good mood or
honest.
not.
I'm being honest. Like
Yeah.
there's days where I have set aside for sourcing. There's days where I've set aside for meetings and interviews, right? So if I'm in a day where I'm back to back meetings and interviews, I'm not checking my LinkedIn. I'm checking the next day, right? And
Yeah.
to your point, it can get backlogged pretty easily. So if you're going to do outreach on LinkedIn, my best advice is keep it short. Hey, this is my name. I applied to these positions in the past. Here's my resume with my contact information. Would love to chat with you about this position. if you're not the recruiter, could you send me who is, right? It's short, sweet, it's direct. It's this is my resume. This is what I applied for. Can you help me? If not, can you help? Can you help me find who can help me?
Yeah.
With the 5-paragraph email about your educational background, that's just not
Where
needed
you
for
were
the job.
born,
It's
what
not
time you were
needed.
born, what city you
Yeah,
were
like
born. Like,
that's not required on a first message. So that's why I like short and sweet and direct. Now, also a little bit of humility, right? Like, hey, like, you can say like, I've applied 3 times and I haven't heard back from anybody. Like, that's going to catch my attention. Like, nobody should apply to 3 to 4 jobs and never hear back from someone, right? So
sure.
if I see that, like, be honest, right? Don't be rude and be disrespectful, but say, hey, like, I've applied a couple times, haven't heard from anyone. Can you look into this for me? Absolutely. Hey, send me your email address and I can look it up in our system, right?
Yeah.
The LinkedIn to me seems to be the best way to find recruiters still, because it's so searchable, so visible, right? You can look at, I can go to someone's page, look at all of their post history and see what they post about, what kind of roles they post, the industries that they support, if they're agency recruiters. You can do all that yourself, right? So on the job seeker side, I would like to empower job seekers to do a little bit of research on the recruiters to find out who they should talk to, at least get a head start of and narrow the funnel down. Now, that same advice can be given to recruiters when they're doing outreach too. Hey,
Sure.
narrow the funnel down. Don't just spray and pray. Outreach messages looking for candidates too. So that, like, it goes both ways.
Well, a lot of times too, you can see who. So I did a quick call yesterday. It was a referral. It was a developer wanting to get into recruiting, right? So we talked about being a sourcer, right? And like, what did that look like? And I quickly showed him on LinkedIn, if you go to jobs and type in sourcer, you can see all the jobs posted, and you can usually see who's posted the job.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like, one of the strategies I said is, hey, like, I would message this person and just be like, hey, I saw you had a sourcer role posted. I'm trying to get into recruiting. Do you have any thoughts for me? I've been a developer. Do you think I should post? I think even kind of going to maybe even the job poster, right? Like, like if I were to see you posted, I'm going to make like I don't know, drone developer. That's not a thing, but like embedded engineer, right? Do you think could be a good tax? Like, hey, Aaron, I saw where you posted an embedded engineer role. I have these skills. I guess this doesn't make much sense. Like, should I apply? You're probably going to say obviously yes, but like, I guess it goes back to saying like, hey, maybe I've applied 3 times to an embedded engineer role, and I have these skills listed in a job description. Where do you think I'm missing the mark? I'm sure you're probably going to be like, oh shoot, like this person has applied 3 times and it looks like they have the skills. You're probably going to help them out because of it.
Yeah, and I'll be the first to say, like, recruiters make mistakes, like, flat out.
Oh, dude, yeah, we're humans.
So many of the recruiting teams since 2022 until now are lean teams, right? So they'll have 15, 20, 30 recs. They'll have 100 applicants, depending on the role, right? I can post 1 rec and get 2 applicants, post another one and I get 30, right? So no rhyme or reason to it, but we do make mistakes. So, like, for example, if this person has the requirements, right, and that message could be like, hey, I have, ABC experience that isn't on my resume, but it actually applies. I'm like, okay, in my mind, I'm like, that could have been a cover letter, right? Again, or better yet, put it on the resume.
Yeah.
Put it on the resume, right? If you meet the requirements for the role, but the experience that meets those requirements is not listed on the resume, it's hard for recruiters to identify that, because we don't have going back to the lean teams topic, we don't have the ability to call everyone. It's just not, we don't have time in the day to talk to every single applicant. And that's sad, because I think everyone should get a shot to be seen and be recognized. But the reality is we don't have the bandwidth to do so when we have X amount of recs open. And, like, let's just break it down. Say a 20 recs open, you got 2 or 3 candidates in play for each rec. That's 40 to 60 candidates that you are managing at one given time. And then you're dealing with more inbound applicants, more inbound outreach.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like, I don't think people understand the volume of people that recruiters have to keep in touch with and manage, which is why I'm so big on follow-up, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, one of the things that I've talked to a lot of people about is like following up with me 3 or 4 times is not annoying. The way you're framing the follow up and your wording can be annoying,
Yeah.
right? So it's like I think self-deprecation goes a long way, right? So like I always tell people there's 3 immediate follow-up messages that I would send. The first, so let's say I was job seeking and I was trying to get to you. It'd be like, hey Aaron, listen, submitted my resume, haven't heard anything. Here's where I'm a fit. Let me know if I'm off base, whatever. Second follow up, hey Aaron, listen, I know you're crazy busy, right? Just want to follow up again. Last one, hey Aaron, listen, I know I'm borderline being annoying at this point, but I just want to close the loop on this. That's 3 messages, and I'm pretty confident that you wouldn't find those annoying because of the tone of them. It's usually the
Right.
tone of the messages that really turns us off.
Yeah. And I think that's a good tactic, right? Because it's like, hey, I'm persistent, I'm confident, but I'm also
Aware.
realistic and aware
Yeah.
of the situation at hand. So I like the follow up, and I've even used this tactic, right? Like if I'm talking to somebody, I know I'm back to back. Like I have, I think, 8 interviews today scheduled, right? Which is awesome. I love it. Like no complaint with that whatsoever. But I
Yeah.
tell
That's a
everybody,
lot though, man.
I'm like,
8
hey,
conversations.
I'm like, give me 48 hours to hear back from the team.
Yeah.
Give me 48 to 72 hours to hear back, get feedback, so on and so forth. If you don't hear from me by Friday, call me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it gives them, I guess, power, right?
Yeah.
Authority.
Yeah.
Hey,
100%. Yeah.
if you don't hear from me, I need you to call me, because
Yeah.
if I could get busy, I could be out sick, I could get pulled to a different strategy or different hiring initiative, right? This could get put on the back burner. So call me. You have my phone number. You can text me, like, because all my first interactions are phone calls. You have my cell phone number. You can text me. You can email me. All my initial outreach is email, right? So you have 3 ways to contact me.
Yeah.
I don't mind that, right? I will say, if you have direct contact to your recruiter and you're texting them or calling them, leave a voicemail with your name.
Yeah.
I get all the time, hey, checking in on this position. And I have to look up in the ATS who this is, right?
Yeah.
And you can search my phone number. It's easy to do. But if you're like, hey, this is John Smith, we talked last week about the software role, checking in. Great. I immediately know who that is, right?
Yeah.
Or the voicemail of, from the random phone number that we talk to all the time, right? We're always making outbound calls.
Yeah.
We don't always save phone numbers. So if you do outreach, you do reach out to a recruiter with their direct line of contact on via phone, leave voicemail or message with your name and ideally the role that you spoke about, right? Just so the recruiter can get a quick shot of who's reaching out to them.
Yeah. So I have this trick. I want to bounce it off of you to make sure that it's a good trick. When it comes to agency side, right? Like I would say this doesn't quite work for an internal side because you guys are just so reactive. But like I call it the BCC trick, right? There's no clever name to this. So like what I would do if I was a job seeker and let's say I spoke to 10 recruiters, agency recruiters, right? Not Aaron, more on Ronstadt and Torque and yada, yada, yada. And let's say there's like 10 or 5, let's just say 5 recruiters I like. I would email them once a month and BCC all of them and just refresh their memory on who you are, what you're looking for to cover more ground. Because there was multiple times when I was recruiting agency, and I'm sure you probably dealt with this, where like agency recruiters have their favorite candidates. Like we just have our favorite candidates. Like we work with you a lot. We know you're good. There was one candidate in Nashville. His name was Ben, and I was working on this role and I forgot about him. He was a perfect fit. He got called by another recruiter and he messaged me. He goes, hey, I got called by this role. Are you working on it? I'd like to work with you. And I forgot him. So I call it the BCC just to stay on top of everybody's mind. Thoughts on that?
I like it on the agency side, especially, right? Because the agency side, you can, depending on the agency model, they can have a very wide array of rec load and clients, right? So we can't. Now, I will say that's when it gets into the system side, right? So like you should have a portion of the ATS or an Excel of your pipeline candidates that are your first. Hey, like here are my first 10 people I'm going to call for this skill set. For this skill set, right? I will put that on the recruiter to have the the organization side, but I also understand the reality of it is that it's chaos.
Yeah.
Agency is very speed to market, and you might have someone on the top of your mind you're going to call first that isn't on that list, right? That you talked to yesterday. You
Yeah.
might forget about the person you talked to a few months ago that was a really good
Yeah.
fit, like Ben. But the check-ins, like again, the tone, the demeanor of it can go a long way.
Yeah.
So I like it. I like being followed up with. I have no issue with someone checking in, like, "Hey, I
Yeah.
applied," or like, "Hey,
Same.
we spoke." I'm no lie. Yesterday I had someone email me who interviewed with us a few months back, wasn't selected, and was like, "Hey, I've been thinking about it ever since. Like, I would love a second shot. Like,
Yeah.
I keep thinking about you guys when I'm looking for work. Can we have another conversation?" We're talking to him today. Right. So even if you're
There you
rejected,
go.
right? Like even if you're told no, it's not a no forever, right? Unless you
No.
do something
Yeah.
egregious, right? And really bomb the interview, which again, the reality of it does happen. But the follow up, with the recruiter, especially if you have their email address or phone number, like it's okay to do that. It's the
Yeah.
recruiter's job to be accessible to the candidates that they're working with, right? Now there's a lot of back and forth of like what the recruiter's role is. Like, do we work for the client? Do we work for our company? Do we work for the candidate?
Yeah.
It's all of the above, right?
Yeah.
You have to,
It's tough. I mean, I'm telling you,
yeah,
like being a recruiter sucks. Like it's hard. Like
it's
it
hard.
doesn't suck.
Yeah,
It doesn't suck. Let me rephrase that. It's just hard. It's just
yeah.
hard.
You have to play both sides of the fence. You have to advocate for the company or the client that you're supporting. You have to advocate for the candidate as well. And doing that is a very fine line.
Do you like I think one of the issues that I consistently saw is the lack of not motivation, the lack of like intensity with follow-up. Like if I reach out to you for an interview and it's an interview for a job, I expect for you to get back to me within the next hour. And I feel like I don't know if you're seeing that right now with this market. Maybe people jump on a little bit more, but also too, like when you finish an interview with a recruiter, like I'm sure you probably like if a candidate interviews, they email you immediately after and be like, "Hey, Aaron, I thought the interview went well. Maybe I missed here." So that way you can go like, there's two things here. Let's talk about just speed to follow up. Are you dealing with that? Do you deal with candidates who you reach out to and then you don't hear from for hours?
I will hear from people for weeks sometimes.
Are you serious?
But I will say that the folks that are serious about the job search and that are truly looking for a new role, they have their notifications set up on LinkedIn. They have notifications set up on their email. They're getting dings when they're getting text messages, right?
Speed's everything right
now. Things are not muted, right? When you're looking for a job, they shouldn't be, in my opinion, right? Now,
right.
There has to be a healthy boundary. Don't look for a job sun up, sun down every day. Like, give yourself a mental break.
Sure.
You need it. I was in that situation not long ago, and you wear yourself out job searching. It's difficult, and I do empathize with the job seekers looking for new roles right now. But the speed does help. Now, I will say, the first applicant, if you're not qualified as the 10th applicant, it doesn't help you, right?
Sure.
But when, to your point, if I reach out to you and let's say I go through, I'm looking for a mechanical engineer, just random title here. Yeah. I send five outreach messages to connect, and I send an automated booking link. And the first 4 people book the next day, and another person books 2 weeks out. Right?
You can't do that.
My next email to that person 2 weeks out is saying, "Hey, thank you for booking. Appreciate the quick response. If you become available anytime sooner, please let me know." Sometimes they don't know that we need somebody right now. It could be on the government contracting side, a lot of it's like pre-award stuff, and they're very familiar with like, hey, this role could close Jan 1. When I'm like, no, I need somebody October 1, right?
Right.
They don't know that, right? So that following up with the recruiter, it's also our responsibility to create the urgency if we don't see it, right? Now, if they don't reply and 2 weeks later we talk, hopefully we have some people already in the process by then. But And then again, that's where the transparency piece comes in. Like, hey, we opened this 2 weeks ago. We have a couple of candidates already in later stages of the interview. What we're going to do here is I'm going to get your information to the team, but we're not going to bring anybody new until we finish out this process, right? Because the last thing when a job seeker wants is to finish a panel interview and you're hanging out, and then we're bringing somebody new in the process that has to do 1, 2, 3 interviews, and it takes 2 or 3 weeks, and this person that finished that panel interview is like, well, what the heck? Why, why am I waiting, right? So we have to create that urgency if we don't see it. Now, if it doesn't reciprocate, timing is a lot in recruiting, right? So you can miss out if you're not checking emails, if you're not checking your spam folder. That first email from a recruiter can very easily go to a spam because it's not a recognized sender.
Sure.
In your Yahoo, Gmail, whatever it is, or it can go to a junk folder very easily. So I would say check the spam and junk folders daily if you're job seeking, at least. Now, again, if it is a spam recruiter email, those are running rampant right now.
Sure. Dude, the amount of spam texts I'm getting right now is unreal.
I get no less than 10 spam calls a day.
It's crazy. The new iOS supposedly fixes a lot of spam stuff, which I'm actually very excited about. So as you wrap up in the last 15 minutes, man, I have some rapid fire, but you're just a wealth of knowledge. Any other things that maybe we haven't covered that you want to get off your chest when it comes to this conversation?
I know. I think someone mentioned it in the comments there. That I can't quite read it, but about formatting. And you and I discussed this backstage. Like, format is not going to make or break. It shouldn't. A qualified and respected recruiter should not disqualify somebody over format, right? If the meat and potatoes are there, I call it meat and potatoes. If that's there on the plate and it's just kind of funky looking, but it tastes good, I'm happy, right? So, for example, like if I know a manager's like, hey, this person has crazy format, or hey, it's good, it has different colored fonts, I can select all, change the font color to black, change it all to the same size, because I know what the hiring teams are going to like. Now, again, even in the agency days, we would reformat resumes so they all looked the exact same. So nobody had that advantage or disadvantage from formatting, right? In this era, we don't have time to do that all the time, but the formatting, in my opinion, isn't something that I am picky about. As we discussed earlier, recruiters have preferences. They shouldn't. Right, they should be looking for the best qualified candidate for the role, regardless of what font color or font size resume is. Now, if it's 10 pages and it's size 36, I'm going to have some questions, some judgment there, right? As far as decision making skills. Joking, of course, but that's something that I wouldn't put an emphasis on. Like, Microsoft Word has great templates. Like, do not pay someone to create an ATS compliant. Don't ever do that.
I mean, I've always said, if you want the best if you need help, I do understand, now being on the job search 2 times, I do understand you sometimes need somebody to help you write your resume. I would go to an agency recruiter or a recruiter to help you write your resume. I would never pay. I mean, prime example, I still am mad at my dad like 6 years later. Not really. But like, he paid somebody. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, I literally had to rewrite his entire resume because it was all fluff. So if you want to pay somebody to write your resume or help you write your resume, go find a recruiter who you like, and they will help you way more.
The whole ATS compliant thing, that just kind of breaking down some like the whole LinkedIn fluff out there too. It's like, if I come across a resume, if I'm going through applicants and it says like resume file not supported, if it doesn't gel with my ATS and I can't view it in like the embedded view, right next to that, it says download, and I click download, and it downloads the PDF, PDF, it downloads the Word doc. Don't ever send me a text file, please.
I've got those. Those are wild.
I will say Word or PDF. Like,
do you have a preference? We always sent PDFs in agency just because, like, so the client couldn't,
change it.
Change it.
I think that's like an agency thing too, because in the agency world, we did PDFs a lot too, because like we didn't want them to, like, I don't know if there was like a paranoia thing or what, but I don't mind either way, because again, like if you upload, if it's a non-current Microsoft Word like version, right? It could
Yeah.
mess up the formatting when I download it. But again, I can select all, change the alignment, and make it all look good, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't mind doing that for candidates, right? Like the formatting shouldn't make or break a candidate if they're
Sure.
qualified for the
But
position.
again, and Jason and I talk about this all the time when we do resume reviews in the Discord. Like people, though, like people develop narratives in their head,
Yes.
whether you like it or not, based off what they're seeing. So
Yeah.
you got to try to dial it in as much as you can,
Right.
because people do have narratives,
Yeah.
like so. Um, let me ask you this: with the last 10 minutes we have, I want to talk your last job search, right? I always find it interesting when a recruiter goes through a job search, right? Because
Yeah.
like we kind of have to eat our own dog food. Anything that worked well for you, anything that you would like in hindsight not have done, or do you think, I mean, I feel like you weren't on the market super long, or am I wrong with that?
It was about 2 months, I believe.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and I probably took an unhealthy approach to it, right? I was like up super early, up super late,
Yeah.
just applying, applying, networking, right? But I think that worked for me, right? That might not work for everybody.
Sure.
Even the job search 18 months ago is not what it is now, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what worked for me was having a bit of a presence on LinkedIn, but that was not what got conversations, right? Like people that I were like messaging were emails that I wasn't even connected with, right?
Okay.
So I was I don't recall who it was, but somebody sent me a random person I was connected with. Never spoke to them before. They sent me an email, not email, a LinkedIn message that, hey, I got 6 months of LinkedIn Premium free for you. Here you go. Here's a code for it.
Okay.
And I was like, game on. I was emailing everyone, right? So because that, in my opinion, at the time, like emails is what's going to get their attention. That's not realistic, but that was the mindset that I had right then and there. So I would say what I would do differently is my original post was like, I'm back on the market looking for work. So I was mad. I was pissed off. I was laid off. I was like, I'm just gonna post that I'm looking for work, right? But it didn't tell anyone who I was. It told everybody that I was pissed off and I was mad I got laid off.
Right.
And like 3 days later, I was like, no, I need to reinvent this. I need to reintroduce myself to the network that might
That's
not know
good.
me, right?
That's good.
So, and who I am, what I've done, what I can do, what I'm looking for, right? All those things. But I didn't spam it, right? Like, and again, it's very easy to be desperate, to feel desperate, and to have that, like, I need to find a job. I got to post every hour that I'm looking for work. But I wanted people to know who I was outside of just what the resume says,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
And some of the people that I interviewed with, I didn't have the experience, right? But it's the outreach, right? It's how I approach them. It's the presence that you hold in your communications. That to me really helped me out, right? So what
So
I would
when you said networking, like were you out here trying to message like head of TA, head of talent, being like, hey, here's who I am, would love to chat? Were you taking, was a lot of your networking calls, Zoom calls, were they like net new connections, or they pre-existing connections?
existing conditions, yeah, we
Yeah,
have a lot of those.
pre-existing conditions. Yeah.
So it was both,
Okay.
right? So like
Was it
what
a 50-50 split, you think?
Probably. Like I lean on my first degree connections first, right? Like that makes the most sense. That's the path of least resistance, right? And but it wasn't always the head of TA, right? The head of TA isn't necessarily always one's going to be making the decision to hire
That's
two or
true.
three levels
That's
down,
true.
right? So
That's
like
true.
recruiting managers,
Yeah.
recruiting leads, recruiters that have been with companies for a long time. Like I'm trying to remember the company it was. Um, Civil construction company, like nationwide company. We actually work with them at Aerotech. I'm drawing a blank on the name. I knew them. I'm like, hey, I would love to work for that type of construction background because I come from a blue collar background.
Sure.
And that was just like, hey, like I'm gonna go after this. And in that outreach to them, I was like, hey, I am a recruiter, but I come from this background prior to recruiting, which you'll never find anywhere on
Yeah.
me anywhere. And this is why I'm interested, right? And those types of conversations outside of like, hey, I just applied. Here's my resume,
It's
right?
giving context. It's just you like you got to tell a story. Like I tell it all the time, it's storytelling.
Yeah, yeah. I got Sebastian says something on here. I can't read it.
Yeah, yeah. Aaron, with your experience, how would you recommend external candidates to stand out? I mean, I guess, I mean, Sebastian, I don't know if you can expound on this like quickly, but like, I know we've talked about like applying and stuff. I guess maybe outside of applying, like how can people stand out? Sebastian, if you want to comment, Aaron, let's go on this route. Outside, how can somebody stand out just in their job search?
If you're interested in a company, my recommendation is to follow the company page on LinkedIn. Follow
Okay.
them on socials, right? Now, the recruiters typically aren't involved in socials, right? Like
Sure.
I don't see who likes our Instagram posts or our X posts, right? I'm just not involved in that.
Yeah.
But on the LinkedIn side, right? I'm seeing who's interacting with our LinkedIn page, right? You know, because if our socials, shout out Ashley, she's great. If she posts, hey, we're hiring, I'm looking at those comment sections. I'm looking at who's liking, who's engaging with our company page, and then even on LinkedIn Recruiter, you can filter to company followers, right?
Yeah.
So I can filter to who follows our company, right? And again, in the grand scheme of things, a follower is
It's one data point. It's
right.
not.
It's a vanity term at its best, right?
Sure.
But it shows the folks that have looked us up before, right? Versus just applying.
Yeah.
Engage with the company socials, in my opinion, especially on LinkedIn. Follow the company. I'll take a playbook out of Darren McKee. You know, engage with the people's content, right? So
Yeah.
like, you know,
Huge.
as
We
you
talked about
pointed out
yesterday
earlier,
with Barrett on the show.
yeah, as you pointed earlier, you know, you can see who's posting the position, and the recruiter can select or deselect that. So if they select that they want to be posted, they should expect to be contacted, right?
Yep.
But if I'm seeing, you know, John Smith commenting about, hey, like, would love to work there, you know, hey, applied here, blah blah, like that's gonna catch my attention. Now again, the end all be all is apply, right? Apply to the role, but to be noticed and to stand out, like engage with the person that you're trying to connect with, right? You
Yes.
know, the comments, the likes, like I'm not, my head's not 10 feet wide. I don't look through all my likes and comments, you know,
Sure. Well,
looking
you get a
for
lot.
motivation,
You get a lot.
but I'm looking for seeing the people that I can talk to, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I look at people
Absolutely.
who view my profile on LinkedIn. I can see that, right? So if I see people that are constantly looking at our profile, it's a skill set that I, you know, would probably hire at some point in time, even if they're not, even if they haven't applied, I'm going to connect with them. Hey, if
Yeah.
I, you know, again, taking a page out of Darren's playbook, I love that you check out my content. You know, would love to connect with you. How can we help each other in the future, right? That type of thing does make a difference to the recruiters who are active on socials. If they're not, hey, it's hard to figure that out.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we're at time. Aaron, appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. It's just the only question. What's your biggest piece of career advice? Right, the show's called Guidance Counselor 2.0 because we had guidance counselors in middle school, high school, and college, but now adults we don't. As adults we don't. Well, if you could go back to young Aaron, what would be your biggest piece of career advice for him?
Take risks.
Yeah.
Take risks. If you see the opportunity, if it's across the country, across the world, if you have the opportunity to go to a networking event, don't think about it. Just do it. You know,
Yeah.
you never know who you're going to talk to. You never know who you're going to meet. Like I've met so many cool people in Chattanooga by just hanging out. I met one person, and I probably know 15 from this one person, right?
That's crazy.
Because we went and got coffee one morning,
Yeah.
like as you and I did, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
take the risk, get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Again, I understand people are very introverted. That's a very common theme as we've all worked from home. We've all been detached from the office spaces for a long time, but take the risk, get out of your comfort zone, do something that makes you a little bit on edge sometimes, right? And you'll notice the doors that start opening up from that.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, y'all. Aaron, stay on so I can say bye to you backstage. Y'all have
Yep.
a good one. We'll see y'all next week. And resume reviews in the Torque Discord, 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern today. Y'all have a good one, and we'll talk soon. Peace.
See you guys.